is Zach Elliott at Feel Free to Argue, and I'm tired of apologizing for not doing many videos during the summer, so I'm not going to. But I did kind of want to weigh in a bit on healthcare because it's a complicated subject in which a lot of my sort of base level instincts are at war with one another. Um, so I want to just more than kind of dictating to you. I mean, I'll certainly tell you what my opinions are, but I want to say in a very real sense that I think this is very much open to discussion. For reasons I'm going to make fairly obvious. Um, I personally am in favor of single payer. That being said, the very first thing I'm going to say about that is that um, I have a huge distrust of the government, especially considering, how enormously co-opted it is by, the very interest that it's trying to regulate. I mean, you look at Obama's resistance to, releasing information about pharmaceutical and insurance agency and American Medical Association people who have visited him during the early part of his administration. And it's clear that he does not want to be upfront about how much input these people are having into the admittedly extremely weak plan that he's putting out at this point. That being said, I think Obama made a very interesting comment um, early on in this whole thing. He just commented about how interesting it was that people who will say that the government can't run anything and is hopefully inept and should basically be shut down are the same people who are expressing such huge concern over having it administer basically a government insurance policy. Um, and he said, like, if you're so sure it's going to fail, what are you afraid of? Let me have what I want and watch it fail, and then you can gloat. Um, and I think that's actually kind of an interesting way of looking at it, and I think it's totally fair. I mean, if I was Obama, I would be more concerned that this is so weak and watered down that it won't even really be viewed as being substantially different from people's private insurance. But who knows? I actually think, though, even this sort of tepid thing is a real threat to things as they are. Even aside from, I mean, even Obama's weak proposal, and the reason why is I'm kind of reasoning from the reverse in the sense that I'm looking at the forces that are arrayed against this and seeing what they're doing and how seriously they're all taking it. And when you look at the kind of concerted response that the American pharmaceutical industry, the American insurance industry is putting up to Obama's plan, you've got to think that it actually is some sort of threat to them. And because they're taking it very, very, very seriously. Um, they're bringing out the big guns. They're leveraging all of the political capital they can. Right now, they're trying to portray it as being sort of dead in the water at this point. And this extension of time, them not voting on it until after the summer recess. Well, this favors the moneyed interest because it gives them more time to work over congressmen and to work over the American public to kind of gin up a sense of fear about this proposal. And as the former insurance industry insider Wendell Potter pointed out on Democracy Now, they're going to just run the same playbook that they've run before. They're going to gin fears about socialism, and they're going to talk about some faceless bureaucrat coming between you and your doctor. Um, and both of these are untrue. Um, and the funny thing is, though, I think even if they are true, I think we should do it and find out for ourselves. I mean, the country's going to be in a lot of trouble anyway. So if this turns out to not work as well as we want it to, it's just going to be one disaster among many. And at least it's one that looks to be trying to help people, as opposed to the Wall Street bailout. And I haven't gotten more to say about some of the other stuff that's going on in the news, like Zelaya and Honduras and the ongoing deal with the Iranian elections. But I just wanted to kind of keep this focused on what it is. And I'm interested in people's thoughts about it. I mean, I know that this would represent a huge concentration of power once again in the federal government. Though I'm excited about Kucinich's proposal, which I think would probably actually be the best idea of all. And that is, he wants to give states the option of going for single payer if they want to do it on their own. And he hopes that eventually one of these state proposals or the state systems gets to the point where it's so successful and everybody envies it so much that it goes national in that state's format. And I mean, I suppose that could happen too. But I mean, I actually think that this would be a great place for federalism, which people know I flog on this channel. And I think that different states have different priorities and would make different decisions about what they do and don't want to cover in a single payer system. And so I think you could have a variety of single payer systems throughout the country, and it's one of the things that would lead back to states getting a kind of individual character and power moving down through the chain and getting pushed downward. And I think one of the big steps you can do is giving the states something that people care about deeply, and giving states real power so that people get involved in the state process, the state system. And, then we can move power even further down later. But I mean, if you want to break up something as big a beast as the federal government, the first thing you need to do is you need to break it into smaller pieces, and then smaller pieces after that, etc., and get more and more accountability. And I guess I think that's all I have to say. Interested in seeing what people have to say about this. I hope everybody's having a good time. Talk to you soon.